Hello everyone, odedex here, welcome to episode 163 of my Sims Let's Play. So in the ending of the previous episode I showed you that once again my red powder quarry has kind of gone crazy after a long period of time, which it hasn't, but it doesn't mean anything. The moment it gets broken, it breaks. But actually this time around this is far worse than usual because my track placement system, it actually got to the point where it overlaps, like it reaches the outmost block, goes into where, in theory, the actual mining should be. As you can see, I'm right now like 4 blocks into the contraption. And this is kind of bad. Now, obviously, everything is solvable, but it's going to require some manual solution. Now, I did say that off-screen I'm going to head and clear everything, but I just realized that it will take a really long time. And I could go ahead and try and utilize something that I've actually made recently to my advantage. So let's go ahead and do that. So what I'm actually going to do is use a Buildcraft filler. Before I do that though, I'm going to create a temporary shortcut to that place right here. So I can come back here and back to my overworld quickly without the need to use the tracks leading into here or use my grafton suit. Now, I'm only doing this simply because it's taking so long. Like, originally I've said I wanted to use this track specifically because I don't really want to use those books. It feels a little bit cheap, but still it will take too long of time to be worth it. So, let's go ahead and place it right here. A temporary book leading back to my current quarry place. And to try and fix everything, what I'm going to need is first get rid of all the access blocks that are at the moment are blocking the way of the quarry. So to do that, I'm going to need a filler, which I should have some around here. I don't recall where. Okay, there we go, a filler. I'm going to need some glass, only glass. Let's just make sure. I'm gonna go for the empty recipe. I think it's full, like 9 blocks of glass. Yeah. This is the mode that I'm looking for, which is simply empty the inwards of what's going inside the determined place. And finally, I'm gonna have to use some landmarks because this is how you mark it, and probably some redstone torches just to make sure that I get maximum distance every time I go through the process. And finally, I'm probably going to need a tesseract, an energy tesseract to move energy around. So let's get one, and I'm simply gonna directly connect to my existing network so I can temporarily access it and use it. Again, this is just a simple, quick, and fast method to get rid of all these access blocks. Now, the reason I'm doing it, by the way, is just mainly because it's faster, but then you might ask yourself, well, why aren't you even mining with fillers if they're so fast? Well, to be honest, I understand your question, and I don't blame you for asking because otherwise you simply would not know. When you destroy items with a filler, they by design, it's not a bug, it's intended to work that way. They don't drop; they simply get destroyed and disappear. And that's again one of the design features that was added originally by Space Toad. He realized that it's actually a little bit too imbalanced. Maybe it wasn't Space Toad, I think it might be either Craft or Singer, I don't know. But the developers realized that it's a little bit too unbalanced because it's mining so fast with the right amount of energy, and it's a lot cheaper to make compared to, for example, a quarry. So by design it was changed to only destroy the items and not actually drop them, so you can't use it as a mining method. It's only good if you actually only want to clear something without a value, such as large areas with cobblestone and things like that. So I'm kind of, while mumbling here, I'm kind of setting up an area which will be clearing everything in between it. That seems to be like a good spot. Let's take down the torch and actually right click to see what it covers. There we go. So everything in within that red marking will be taken out, and it should be fine. I think this border might have a little bit of trouble. Let's change that. So let's take that landmark away and place it right here. If I could, I would do it the entire process in one go, but there's this simple 64 blocks limitation to landmarks. So even if I want to, I can't. So this filler, place it. I'm going to collect the landmarks, but it's not set up. Let's set up the design to use 9 pieces of glass, which basically means the empty design. And finally give it some energy using an energy tesseract, connect it to my Buildcraft energy, and set it to receive only, although by default it should be fine as well. Now at the moment I'm actually using a lot of Buildcraft energy, so I don't know if it's actually doing something or not. Let's try and figure out if it actually is doing something. Seems like it's not. It's actually is not a big surprise. Again, I'm receiving only for my quarries. Yep, it should be working. I'm actually worried I may have made a mistake in the design. Let's actually give it a small test by just using a redstone energy cell instead. That will have to work if my design is correct. So let's just get one of those redstone energy cells quickly. Okay, so I went back to actually bring a cell, and while coming back I noticed that it started working. So I guess there was indeed a lack of energy generation which actually caused this to happen. And actually, you know what? While waiting for this to get fixed, because this is going to take a while, whether I like it or not, this is not something that's going to end anytime soon. Actually, it's a project that I actually wanted to get to, which is to increase the production rate of energy, of Buildcraft energy that I have. Right now I have this giant array of blue electric engines, which do quite a fine job. It's not a bad job, at least. But it can definitely be improved. Now, at the moment, I'm not planning to take any of this down, but I would like to do a couple of changes, and I actually thought about some logical and nice way to do it and craft it nicely. So since I already made one of those redstone energy cells, let's go ahead and create 7 more so I can actually increase the buffer size of all the energy that I have. So I'm gonna go ahead and make let's go ahead and make 7 more of those redstone energy cells. And actually, in the meantime, what I'm also going to do is, just to save up some space, I'm actually going to go ahead and take some of those blue electric engines away. And I'm kind of doing this on purpose because I realized this quite some time ago, but until now I didn't really care. Those 8 engines in no way whatsoever can actually make use of all that energy. That's one thing. And the other thing, like what I mean, you actually need a lot more energy to generated, a lot more electricity to fully utilize those engines. But on the other hand, actually by design, red power electricity has some kind of voltage loss or amperage loss. I'm not exactly sure over large distances. Now, you would expect that this amount of engines would actually deplete the entire tower of batteries that I have right here, but every time I've came here, you may have noticed that like nowhere whatsoever those batteries ever get emptied. They're not even being interacted with the engines. So this entire contraption is kind of silly. I don't know if there is a way to upgrade it, but I'm not going to take it down. Either way, what I'm actually going to do is take away some of those engines. So let's go ahead and try to leave, at the moment, let's leave 4 of them. So take away half, see how that turns out. If it still builds up energy or not. To break them, well, they're gonna fall into water if I'm not paying attention, but doing it like this should be fine. Whoa. What I'm trying to do is, at the moment, all these batteries, without a doubt, have some room for energy. All of them are empty because I'm using all my extra bees machines, and I'm refining oil, and I'm refining fuel. I'm doing all of sorts of uses for Buildcraft energy at the moment. So all of those engines, in theory, should be running at full capacity. What I'm trying to test is whether or not 4 of them are still too much or too few to what I can handle. What I'm looking for is the critical point where actually one of them they're running at full speed, but I'm still generating electricity. This is the critical point that I'm looking for at the moment. So I think 4, not even 4 might be too much. Some energy building up here. Now it seems to be completely stable. How about here? No, I don't know. Let's just let it do its job. See how it turns out. Okay, and the way I was thinking to upgrade my production line here was actually using some new engines, and what I'm going to try and do is use the steam engines, because since I've got the production of steam going, I think I really would like to try and use it, see how it works, how it turns out. So let's try and use that. So there are three types of railcraft engines. There is the railcraft steam engines, because there are also the Stirling engine, which kind of uses, I think, water and coal, but this is kind of a vanilla thing. And there is also the steam engine from thermal expansion, but that's two different things. What I'm looking for are those three steam engines. Hobbyist, commercial, and industrial. I think kind of it's self-explanatory that the industrial steam engine is the most serious one. So let's go ahead and try and make a couple of those. So to craft each one of them, I'm going to steel gear, which is 4 steel ingots and a stone gear, and 3 steel plates, which are basically 3 steel ingots. Now, because of the factors and numbers of things dividing by each other, let's simply go for the smallest possible thing, which will be 4 engines. So let's create 3 sets of those steel plates. How they're called? Steel plates. I already have actually one, but it doesn't help me too much. Let's just go ahead and create, let's use 12 of those steel ingots. Now, if you recall correctly, I actually had an automatic process that creates steel all the time, that it's now actually being used. The moment I just drew some steel out, it just started working a little bit again. So this is just a small thing in action. Okay, so let's paste the recipe to actually create the steel plates. In addition, let's introduce a new recipe to create the steel gears. So 4 steel gears and a stone gear will be 4 steel ingots and a stone gear will be whatever I need. So let's take 4 of those, and a stone gear to be precise, and a new blank pattern to create this new gear recipe. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and this gives me the steel gear, and let's dump that into the molecular assembler, return those things, and finally take out, if I'm gonna go for 4 of them, so 8 steel gears. So steel gear, give me 8 please. In the meantime, let's go for the last recipe here, which you always need to turn on manually, and also get some glass and some pistons. Now I'm also going to set up a system to collect all the steam, or not collect, to move it around all the steam that's from my current storage tank to the actual steam engines. And by the way, I didn't do any math whatsoever in terms of efficiency. Like, I don't know, 4 engines might be too much for my current steam production, or might be not even close to being too much to my current steam production. I don't know, but I'm about to find out. So let's go ahead and make those 4 industrial steam engines. Now, to power them on, what I'm going to need is some sort of an ender tank network to move the steam around. So let's use a new color. I think somewhere around gray. Did I use any gray color yet? Yeah, I used this gray, apparently. And did I use white for something? Isn't white for snow? Let's take a look. Let's have the 3 different colors available to me. Let's check the recipe. What I like about when you craft the different tanks recipes, even I just picked out 2 light gray. Need the dark gray. Okay. So what I like about the Endertark recipes, even before you craft them, just by pasting the recipe, you can see what's being used and what's not being used, which is actually quite awesome. Okay, so white is not taken. This, okay. So light gray is for, I think seed oil? I don't know. Gray wool is not taken, so let's make this. I'm going to need 2 of them. One to actually collect the steam, and one to move it around. What I need, as always, a couple of liquid ducts. Also going to need some redstone torches. And I'm out Oh, I have some of me. Okay. And I'm also going to need some redstone conduits because I'm now going to start using some of them again. The batteries are all ready to be used. Oh, I hate the way it changes the order of items when you pull them out. Okay, this seems to be fine. Okay, seems to be fine. So let's start working with steam. So pull it out of here, and my steam production should be very, very quick, very high. Like the rate of which I pull them should be, the rate of which I pull steam out should be a lot slower than the way it's produced. Like it's kind of crazy. You can see, yeah, the tank is getting filled up. It's not even causing a fluctuation. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, was worried there for a second. Okay, let's quickly go ahead and sleep before the creeper explodes and start working with steam. Okay, so 4 engines have been running. Energy is still being demanded, of course, and the energy still doesn't build up here. So let's go ahead and actually try to remove 2 more of those engines. 2 more of the blue electric engines, see how that turns out. If that will be too much, or still, or it will be the magic number that I'm looking for. I have a feeling though that 2 of them will be able to use enough energy at maximum capacity while still energy building up. I actually just saw a pixel going up here. Or was it just my... Yeah, okay, so energy is clearly building up now. 2 of them, yeah, okay. So now there's a clear buildup of energy, so let's return only one of them. Reinstall one of those engines so it can fully utilize, or at least get close to being utilized, all the energy, because if I have 2 of them running at maximum capacity but the rest of the electricity is simply building up, this is kind of stupid. It feels stupid, so this way at least it will do something. Why is it not turning on? Okay. So, let's set up all the batteries first, all the new batteries. So, this. Very easy. And this probably will need to move. Yeah, it's gonna have to move. So let's take it away from here and simply move it to right over here. Can kind of change... No, let's move it even 1 block further. Right over here. Okay, buildcraft energy and send only. And I'm gonna need to reconnect, or not reconnect, but establish new connections with all the new batteries that will also act as a larger buffer. Change all of them to extract mode. And that's that. And I'm also gonna have to be connecting, have entry points to all of those batteries. So to do that, this is gonna be, okay, this is gonna require some changes. Okay, so first let's take away all those, all those connections will have to go. This is gonna be fundamentally different now. So I'm also gonna have to move all my current electricity engines, blue electric engines, that is. Okay, so because I'm now using 2 layers and potentially even more in the future, let's do it like this. So those will be entry points. I'm not extracting from this side, I'm only inputting into this side, so that's fine. Or actually it might be fine. Oh yeah, actually it might be fine without the changes that I was about to make. So instead of going from the bottom, it will come from the side, but I can still connect it right over here, so that's not a problem. I will, however, need to set them up from scratch again. So let's connect a different engine and change the mode to extraction, and then break the engine and do it again. This is kind of boring, but there is no way around it. Because unfortunately, blue electric engines kind of have this misunderstanding with the conduits, and they don't really know. I've explained this before, this kind of a silly little problem. Okay, so to keep things kind of uniform, when I have my engines relatively close by, the new steam engines, not too far away, but different, separated from the rest of these engines, so let's have it kind of right here. Not here, but right here. So this, and let's have this. And also let's get some cobblestone to get some small platform running around here, so if I ever get the point where I'm breaking stuff, I don't want them falling into the ocean floor because there is a giant quarry below here. So let's get a small little platform going on. Okay, so got the small platform set up. Let's set up the actual engines. So I'm going to set them up in a way that will be extremely convenient for me to do, you know, in the manner of getting steam into them. So let's have the 4 engines like this. Make sure that all of them are rotated the way I want them to be rotated. Change the conduits to extraction mode. Let's take a quick look inside the steam engine. As you can see, it's extremely simple. You only have one gauge, one bar that measures the amount of steam that you have. This, I think, is the amount of build-up energy inside it. It doesn't matter too much for me at the moment. So with 2 simple conduits, you can connect it like so, have the ender tank right here, and change it to dump into it. I think it should be working. Why is it not accepting energy or steam? I did read something about those engines that I think they can only accept steam directly from the thing itself. Is that truth? No, clearly seems to be able to. Okay. So what's going on here? Do they need a redstone signal? Let's take a look. Yep, I guess they do. Okay, so they need a redstone signal as well, I guess. No problem. Nothing too complicated about that. So 2 redstone signals on the bottom, 2 redstone signals here, and they all should be working. There we go. I think that's the rate of production, 8 microjoules per tick. Okay, so the amount of steam being spread around isn't that efficient. Yeah, it's kind of getting to that. Okay. This is acting a little bit strange. It obviously generates energy, that's kind of that's a fact, but having trouble reading what exactly does it mean. Well, we'll see in the future if it does something. It's definitely generating energy, that's a good thing at least. And I'm definitely using steam. Let's see if my buildup of steam actually goes down as a result of this. Yeah, it goes down, but it gets generated up again, so yeah, it's fine. I could try and use even more steam that I'm using at the moment. I don't like the fact that I have a hard time understanding how exactly does the numbers work here. This is obviously the steam count, this some sort of energy, and this is also some sort of energy. Well, let me try and figure out actually. Oh, okay. So I was looking for some information, couldn't find too much, but then I realized that kind of derpy me, like any other engines, they have the different colors, different heat modes. So obviously this one just turned green, and it should, yeah, as you can see, it now generates a little bit more. Now, steam engines cannot, I don't think they can ever explode. As long as they can output their energy, they cannot explode. I don't think that whenever everything here will be full, it will be able to explode. But even if they do, I don't think it will be too much damaging. This is kind of playing with the devil right here, but I really don't want to set up too much complicated logic system at the moment, so that will have to do. Just a quick take a look here. I haven't shown you guys ever since the previous episode what's going on here. So my glacial bees are really not even close to getting enough crushed ice, but my entire logic system is actually making sure that the engines never explode. I'm still requiring some energy at most of those cells, although getting very close to being completely full. And whenever that will happen, the red pipe wire signal will be turned off, and all the conditionals in all the gates will be false, because they are all AND gates which look for 2 separate conditions or more. Specifically for me it's 2, and as a result it will be turned off. Let's see if my small emptying system here is completed. Whoa, it's really taking a long time. This is kind of unexpected. I didn't expect it to be taking that long. And I still need to figure out how exactly to resolve the problem that it's actually kind of overlapping, but the fact that it's taking so long is kind of beyond me. Like, I still have to wait then. Okay, so one more thing I'd like to do since I'm still kind of waiting here is making a small expansion and a small upgrade to my industrial craft energy generation system. If I'm already all around dealing with energy and energy upgrades, let's go ahead and do something. It's a very small upgrade that I'd like to do, but I would like to do it nevertheless. Since I started using a lot of energy units in my applied logistics, already up to 324, and you'll be surprised, but I still have a couple of ideas that I'd like to implement that will expand the system even more. It's getting kind of crazy. So let's upgrade it a little bit more. I actually want to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more geothermal generators here. So it's actually utilizing as much as I can space, while still keeping it kind of looking properly. But one more change I'd like to implement is change the way I'm moving energy around here, and I'm about to show you in just a minute. So first, I'm gonna build myself quickly 4 more geothermal generators. I don't think I've added the recipe to craft them, but I got all the materials easily crafted already. So I'm gonna need 8 empty cells, 8 refined iron, and a bunch of glass. So that shouldn't be too much of a problem. So 8 refined iron, so 7 more additional to this. 8 cells. So, oh wait, I don't have cells. Do I ever have a lot of tin that I can simply use? So let's make cells out of tin. Or I might just have some cells here, which I forgot about. Yeah, I do. Okay, so let's take those cells and some glass. Easy as pie. And let's just finally make the actual geothermals. And I forgot the generators themselves. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. So craft 4 additional of those. Now instead of glass fiber cables, what I'm going to do will be kind of a lot fancier and a lot crazier, but I really would like to do that. So all of those geothermals are now potentially running. They're all filled up with energy. The entire buffers are filled up with energy, so they're not running. But what I'd like to do is actually replace every piece of cable here with an MFSU. This way I have much larger buffer area. And also, every time that I want to charge up my suit, I usually just use this MFSU and this one right here. This one right here is actually very strange because it's just sitting here for no reason, but you'll be surprised. Off screen, I'm actually using it quite a lot. This is the main one I'm using to charge my suit. But if I'm going to have an array of MFSUs right here, it will be so much more convenient. So I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them in a line. So let's get MFSU. This is actually a recipe I did introduce in the past, so let's craft 8 of them. There shouldn't be, the recipe itself shouldn't be too complicated, just uses a lot of, it just requires cooking some refined iron and macerating some coal maybe, but I do have a large backlog of all of those different materials. So as you can see, I got the entire thing pretty much covered, and also I'm moving rubber from my HV Solar Array H already, so this is actually very simple to do. It's just a simple, just plain waiting. In the meantime, let's take a look at my steam engines, that is, which, okay, this one turned blue. Now those are green. Okay, there's some strange behavior with those engines. I'm not sure what it's all about. Maybe it's the fact that I'm running maybe slightly low on steam. How is my boiler doing? Am I out of steam already? Nope. Is my tank out of steam? Yep, okay, so my tank is out of steam. Maybe if I would kind of skip all the process of moving the steam around wirelessly or with tesseracts and tanks and move it directly, it would be working faster, but you know what, for what I'm trying to achieve here, that will be doing quite fine. This is just a simple trying to boost my production rate of energy, buildcraft energy, and that's enough. I might consider even adding a biofuel or fuel-powered engines in the near future, but at the moment it will be fine. So let's take my MFSUs, 8 of them. And when you place an MFSU, let's make sure, just a quick make sure that this the electric wrench is on lossless mode. Lossless mode is enabled. Okay, so when you place an MFSU, I think the output will always face you. Yeah, okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoops. Okay, and last one here. Okay, so this is pretty much now a glorified cable, but essentially just acts like a giant buffer and a giant station for me to charge all my gear, because every one of those access points can now charge my gear. Obviously, there's now building up all the internal energy, so it's going to take a little bit of a while. It would be wiser to actually probably do it here, because this is probably, it's going to have a little bit more of energy. Maybe just do it here. But essentially just a glorified cable with just a lot more buffer. Now, I'm not doing it any more than those 8, simply because at the moment right here there's an intersection which actually has some logic. This one goes into here, this one goes into the rest of my Planet Logistics network, so there is a logic behind keeping those cables the way they are, because energy flows in both directions in there. But now, I can actually start building up a larger buffer of energy. It's going to take a while though. It's really going to take a while. But at least it's doing something. I'm also thinking about making something with my reactor, my nuclear reactor, but it's going to have to wait. Okay, so right before concluding the episode, let's still take a look at my filler right here, which is really struggling. This is really taking a long time. This is strange. No blocks should drop, but they kind of drop and disappear. This is a bug, by the way. This is not intended. I don't think it's intended. Because obviously they do disappear, those blocks disappear, but they shouldn't drop at all. I don't know, maybe it's because my world is so overloaded with different machines and systems that overload the entire CPU of my computer. Maybe it kind of goes crazy, but essentially nothing should drop. This is kind of buggy. But yeah. Okay, so unfortunately I did still fix my red power quarry, so it's gonna have to wait once more. But yeah, still, as I've said, as you can see, I still have some work to do here, and I still need to come up with a way to actually fix it without having too much trouble with my current track placement system. Anyway, as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.